Namaste, my galactic family. Welcome back to my channel, Indigo Angel. Welcome if you're new, and if you're returning, don't forget to hit the notifications bell to continue to receive my messages. So today I have an ascension reading for the Starseed, the radial light encryption Stargate system, Pleiades. I just felt this light source needing a check, particularly because of the density structures it upholds planetarily and biologically. So I've talked about the reality fields that play out within each density structure, and the Pleiadians are a huge part of that structure that upholds fifth density. The Pleiadian Starseeds are the original divine galactic nation, or the soul group that was a part of the greater human seedings within the Lemurian root race. So everything kind of comes back into that primal Lemurian tone for the Pleiadian. An angelic ascendancy that was called the Oraphims within the 24 to 48 strand DNA potentials of the Pleiadian genetics or DNA. This would include starseeds from Lyra, Sirius B, Procyon, Centaurus, Orion-Mintaka, Gaia, Terra, Alcyone-Pleiadian, of course, and also Altair. The Pleiadian starseeds represent the birth of some of the first unique and most human-like prototypes of the original angelic human templates. This, in turn, created the fifth dimensional souls on Earth and the first souls that could obtain fifth dimensional consciousness through the activation of the fourth strand DNA. So, because being the first souls to obtain fifth dimension in angelic form, they represent the fifth sphere within the cosmic universal tree of life, the fifth harmonic within the base radial template. The fifth density upholds several waves of reality fields within that template and is stabilizing the polarities within all of those reality fields. And this was something that I really wanted to make a video on at some point, is going into the polarity that exists through all dimensional spectrum. So I know there's this third to fifth density going from, duality, or going from not even having the development of self-consciousness, but then to a state of full unity consciousness, which are processes within ascension, but that attainment is then fulfilled within each dimensional realization or each dimensional experience or each sphere within the universal tree of life, that one will attain the attainment within each density, encompassing all of those reality fields within that density. And therefore, the stabilizing of the polarities does continue to play out even in the higher dimensional structures, 8 through 12, 12 through 15, and beyond the center pointal retraction point of the black hole. And so the Pleiades have been so vitally important to the overall stabilization of the grids, and equally the purification processes that runs down the vertical ascension column within the biological structure, also within the planetary structure. But when we go that into planetary consciousness, we're then igniting the holographic planetary beam, the photon belt from the Pleiades. And it's through the stellar activation cycles that create this holographic beam that generates from the Pleiadian photon belt, which is the core tone within the Mayan calendar. So there are some Mayan calendar universal cosmic trees of life that have been basically, drawn up or, put out on the internet. So you can take a look at that structure because it's very close to, I've listed the picture of the Mayan cosmic tree of life before in some of my other videos. I don't have it available right now to look at, but it is a very accurate representation of what that Pleiadian photon beam looks like through the planetary and the biological center tone, or just center shaft of the merging universal trees of life going from planetary to biological structure. But essentially, that Pleiadian core tone is within the Mayan calendar. It's within ancient Lemurian equator codes that have been reawakening as these divine mother activations come about. And the spirit of Mu and the Tyrannosaeum soul incarnates, they will also hold that core vibratory tone. The Pleiades, being the star of purification, has been doing so much over the last couple of months. And it really does not only take the expression or the encryption or the mythology that the Pleiadian starseed itself is carrying to the deepest matters of the higher spiritual heart, but it's also, equally a part of that cosmic collective ascension identity, as well as we stay in coherence to the planetary morphogenetic structures of the dimensional grid that Gaia is therefore hosting this energy upon as well. That it will be the Pleiadian encryption and signature will be taking the planetary consciousness into the deepest matters of the higher spiritual heart as well. So this purification is a higher extension into the higher heart. And that's why it's so important to pay attention to your Pleiadian friends, Pleiadian galactic family, namaste, because once y'all start to visually demonstrate taking on the brunt of these attacks, spiritual warfare, expression of corruption, mutation, bioweaponization, planetary weaponization, all of this hacking of the infrastructures, essentially it means that once the Pleiadians start to express this, it means that the planetary shields are being opened and released and engaged. And therefore, the Pleiadian encryption then generates into the other star systems mythology or expression or definition or polarity or counterbalance or reverse reverberation of that energy. And the Pleiadians will show this simply through their daily expressions, their daily lives. They are mimicking everything that is playing out within that planetary release. And the Pleiadians are going to pick up on it first. The Pleiadians are currently assisting the reality fields connected to the most recent clearings, cycles of planetary Akashic record releases, restored ancient timeline retrievals, ancestor awakenings, and future collective restorations and reparative designs of collective destiny. The Pleiadian will be the one who exposes the spiritual battles of the freedom wars. So Martin Luther King Day is coming up. Okay, let freedom ring. Martin Luther King was all about that freedom of speech, freedom of scribes, freedom of scrolls, freedom of soul contracts, freedom of incarnation, freedom of ideas, freedom of exploration, freedom of knowledge, and freedom of the heart. This is what the Pleiades live and die for. And they are the most empathic, so their sensitivity does mirror all of these distortions so perfectly, so crystal clear. And that is why a lot of times the Pleiadian Starseed is under so much spiritual warfare and so much spiritual attack, is because of their reflection. Their battles internally are over what is best for the spiritual heart of the world and humanity. So when you're in that constant state of reflection, you are so, for one, very unidentifiable to the typical unascended being, but even to the ascended being, you provide such a beautiful divine mirror that it can be really, really hard for one to internalize what they're seeing within themselves when they look into your energy encryption. And it can cause, a lot of beings to identify that and project back what they're internalizing on a planetary level. And a lot of times it triggers the human. There's a lot of human triggering, so they can become under the scrutiny of a lot of these triggers and, exacerbative behavior of the human design. So like I said, just overall, just take note when a Pleiadian starseed shows distress. It does mean that all other reality fields and all other densities will begin to feel the wave pattern recognition to follow the initiation of the Pleiades. Pleiades are the most human. They're the most connected to the expansion of the universe, but then also the most common and relatable at the same time. And that's, I feel, is one of the most beautiful qualities about the Pleiadian, is that they very much are like the boots on the ground. They're very much inside of the mission. They're the functioning of the mission. They're the mechanics of the mission. They're the prompters of the mission. They're the ones that initiate the healings, the clearings. And so there's a lot of work that on a collective soul group level, a collective soul identity that's playing out within the pattern recognition of the initiation of the Pleiades. Okay, so this is exactly why I wanted to do an ascension read for my Pleiadian family. So I'm going to go ahead and flip these cards. We're just going to see where overall Starseed, Pleiadian Starseed energy is for the remainder of January. Today is January 16th, 2020, and we have been going through a lot of, Lyran, Cygnus, Aquila conjunctions, and then also Sirian opposition. And we've been having a lot of grid activations, Sirian Stargate activations, also planetary activations in accordance to Cygnus, Aquila, and Deneb. As we start to transition through this time frame, it's creating really honestly a huge divine feminine rising at this time, more so than what it typically is. There's just this Sophia Christos realignment that's happening at this time, and so that's just heightened energy on the planet. The Pleiadians have assisted this. The Pleiadians initiated it, and now the Sirians have stepped in to honor agreements and contracts at this time. So I will be doing a Sirian Starseed origin reading next. Okay guys, so this is an ascension reading for the Pleiadian family. We're going to go through human reality fields and also galactic reality fields in accordance to the Pleiadian energy encryption. And so we have the Three of Pentacles, and on a human level of expression, the Three of Pentacles, so within the foundational aspects of the Pleiadian Starseed, there's been a lot of hard work that has been basically been playing out over the last few months. You've been putting in so much for so many lifetimes is what I'm seeing. This is not just, what you've been doing in this current incarnation. It's that there has been this building up of a lot of knowledge and wisdom that has been extending from your Akashic records, extending from your previous timelines, extending from your past lives, that you've created such an efficient flow of intellect that you're integrating from such a higher knowing of wisdom that is an all attainment from all reality fields, all existences. You have this accumulative energy that's coming in for divine manifestation within the emotional body. I see there's a deep energy or a deep integration into that emotional current that seems to be coming up and then re-unfolding back into the body. There's this, I sense this humility and this overall sense of peace that you've made with past lifetimes. I almost see that it was like this whole grievance or acceptance process from a lot of loss that you've experienced in a past life. This is all coming up. This is generating current lifetime. It's helping you expand. I see a lot of success beginning to unfold. This is an initiation phase. There is still some, overall the universe is aligned and prepared to start offering some of the support where in the past you may have struggled. So on a galactic level, there's been some new hope that has been refound for the Pleiadian Starseed. New inspiration, new serenity, new faith. Opportunities have been starting to unfold within the higher dimensional expressions of yourself. There has been more of an awareness of recognition to that initiation, to this positive outlook that's starting to unfold. I want to say that the Pleiadians were kind of in a darker space for some time, but the energy is really clearing. It's flowing. There's now, it's flowing like a river. The emotions, the spiritual body, nothing is really blocked anymore. So blessings are going to continue to unfold, particularly within the higher dimensional timelines for the Pleiadian Starseed in human form. There's been on a more identity level to the human perception, there's definitely been this need to accept your imperfections. I see that there's like a lot of acceptance with, all of these aspects about self that maybe can or cannot be changed in this moment. But there's all of this acceptance, imperfections, and this building of your self-esteem. And it's just representing this subconscious and emotional state. And it is definitely, also representing your presence here on Earth. There's been this just almost like acceptance of your role, acceptance of your duty, acceptance of where you are right now, and you're feeling very much okay with that. On a mental level, though, you have, this is the Tower card, so there has been a lot of destruction on a mental level that for many Pleiadian Starseeds, I would say that many fields of realities have collapsed. There's been a huge collapse. So this isn't for all Pleiadian Starseeds. There's like waves that are trickling through the cycles as we speak. It's like if the Pleiadian spiral was one crystal spiral matrices that came out from the planet, and all Pleiadian starseeds that were tuned into that crystal spiral, they would follow in that vortex of the same pattern recognition that the previous Pleiadians might have caught from the first initial wave of that spiral. So you're all riding the same wave, but you essentially have, some of you are at the beginning and already going through the closing processes, and some of you are entering into the brutality of that cycle and aren't going to be coming out of the clearing for a while. But it's all the similar, same pattern flow of recognition that flows through and has to play out through that density, through that soul group, through that collective. And so there are some of you that on a mental level are very much going through a tower like experience where the foundation has cracked, the foundation has crumbled. Ultimately, it is to clear space to provide a new reality field that is going to present within the Pleiadian template. Many of you have already began to see the manifestations of that already solidifying and integrating into your reality field. But overall, on a human level, the Pleiadian Starseed is dealing very much with foundational insecurities. And this can be connected all to those primal needs, primal life needs right now. So if you're struggling with, maintaining a place to live, because this is another thing too, is like as a Pleiadian Starseed, you're going to start being called to journeying. You're going to start being called to traveling. As this density lifts up off of the collective body and then up off the biological form as well, you will feel called to just start taking flight. The plasma is rising within this density right now. So a lot is being cleared out, and it's being cleared out very, very quickly. We have the Three of Cups on a galactic level. So the Three of Cups is really harmonizing with that divine union of the Trinity tonal chords within the body. So like I said, raising up from second density. And that's where the clearing has been taking place mostly inside of the planet, and also now particularly as it continues to play out and unfold from the Pleiadian encryption. Because like I said, y'all are the initiators to the actual particular events that are to play out within the human form. Pleiadians will be the reflections or the reverberations of those things first. And so as you start to clear that emotional, psychic body within your body and start to come together into union, into harmony within the oversoul, within the triad, the monad, the bioenergetic sphere, you're going to be healing that more collectively, more planetarily, and it's going to be assisting with this energy that is really wrapping up ultimately for the Pleiadian Starseed, the Tower energy. Okay, so on a human level, we have the Page of Wands, and this is representing a more creative soul on a solemn path. You are definitely one who thinks outside of the box. You are going to lead new ventures with ideas and with enthusiasm. I also see you working with dragons. So there's this primordial energy that's coming through where your primordial self is being shown to you in your human form. Like you're being able to see the higher spiritual primordial forms. This is coming through as well for Pleiadian Starseed. Maybe connecting more to like insectoid lineages. I also see, like I said, dragon lineages and also centaurian lineages, serpent lineages. All of this is being infused into that fifth density template biologically as well, because a lot of this Energy is coming back up for the Pleiadians to initiate the fire, the fire of purification through the stars of fire, the stars of purpose. But I also see that a lot of this creative vision is scattered or disorganized. So you may be wanting to take some time to ground and rebalance that electrical energy inside of the body, so that way you can begin to organize your thoughts just a little bit, so that way you can continue to develop this creative vision. Two of Swords on a galactic level. So this again is about balancing the mental mind. I'm receiving the message that the higher mental plane is requiring some balancing. Almost like there's just some denial, like you're maybe refusing to kind of see the problems that are playing out at hand, avoiding of making a decision. You have ideas that are flying in the opposite direction, and this is what's probably causing this inability to be organized within the physical, within the human form. There is a lot of integrative energy to the ultra-terrestrial and to the ET that's trying to bring forth a lot of this higher knowing. And there might be some resistance. I'm sensing resistance in the biological structures, that maybe it's not ready to house these particular encodements or these particular templates that are coming in. So just thorough body scans, recognition of these things is going to help clear the density structures. A lot of times this is held in the organs. So if you're having trouble integrating new encodement, or if you feel like you have ideas that are splitting or resisting vibration, then you want to work on tonal clearing through the organic structures. That's going to be able to create space for the ultra-terrestrial or the ET intellect that is trying to assist this creative process and help with the creative overall vision and design. It's just saying to, get out of the mental linear mind process as much as possible. I'm also hearing the words simplify your physical reality. Simplify everything within your awareness at this time. Take things off your plate. The plate is too full. This energy is trying to manifest into the physical form. It is asking and seeking you to anchor it in. It wants you to create a divine template or a divine foundation for you to continue to integrate this creative energy that's coming through the Page of Wands. But you're kind of like against yourself at this time. Like, this Galactic is him, and he's pointing the gun at him. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's just basically saying, be aware of being your own enemy, particularly within the higher dimensional planes. Be aware of interception. Be aware of voices that are not yours. Be aware of information that disrupts, distorts, or basically shifts you into a fear vibration, or just an overall like negative tonal chord within something, because that is where you want to shift that perception, is when you can make those identifications internally. We have the Queen of Swords for the human aspect for the Pleiadian Starseed. So this is about ruling more with your head and less with your heart, but it's not without compassion. The Queen of Swords is very wise, very fair, very honest, very forthright. There is this empowerment that is coming through the Pleiadian template that is preparing them for battle. Even though they might not necessarily be going into battle, they prefer to keep the matter civilized, particularly when you're working with other people, other events, other creative ideas, even family, things of this nature. You prefer to not participate in the conflict, but you have been well designed over the last few months. You have been well trained. So the third eye has been sharpened, so to speak, to a lot of the art of spiritual warfare and all of these things. So there is this shrewdness in the way that you might be delivering your energy at this time. There is this like just cunning execution of your words to the core. Like, there is no denying where you're at on an emotional, mental, spiritual level. Like, it is very, very blunt and to the point, and you are okay with that. This is actually a good space for you to be in at this time. This is defining the boundaries that need to be set up within your bioenergetic field at this time, just to house you to the next evolution, which is going to be shifting you very much into a higher ascension, a higher timeline. Over the next 6 months, you're going to be very much revolutionizing a lot of things. And so this energy is being defined to carry and uphold the Pleiadian template for further evolution into this probability, into this reality. And in response to this card, there's going to be a lot of decisive action that is going to be playing out. So you are going to be receiving messages. You are going to be, finishing up these projects, so to speak, in the higher realms. I see coalitions forming too. This was another vision I kept receiving, was I kept seeing coalitions of divine feminine uprisings within the higher dimensional fields. So this is something that the Pleiadians are very aware of. The Pleiadians are aware of the soul structures that are being united in a lot of different temples of the etheric realms as far as the divine feminine templates. So there are these divine feminine militias that have been coming to the forefront, and the Pleiadians have been in contracts and agreements with a lot of this stuff. So they essentially they're just kind of breaking away from the norm at this time, and they're not really, particularly for the Pleiadians, you're not allowing anything to get in the way of this energy. And so this is going to bring up a lot of, it's going to slow down communication a little bit, almost like you're going through a Mercury retrograde or something like that, but it's only going to be through mainstream media. A lot of this occult encryption is going to continue to play out within the subharmonic tones. There has been this collective cracking of the etheric egg, so to speak. And so Pleiadians have been very much the initiators to that crack. Therefore, the subharmonics, the subtones, all of the underlying mechanics of these crystal spiral matrices, these multidimensional crystal spiral time matrices that the Pleiadian Starseed is assisting with this coversion, coherency, integration, transduction, all of these fancy words for just the merging of harmony into the new realms and the new spectrums of visibility. Pleiadians are laying forth this template. And so you are having to be the ones right now to make a lot of decisions. Also, there's been a lot of UFO sightings. A lot of UFO sightings now that we're going through a lot of these planetary major, climate change type. It's not all climate change, but it's some of it is bioplanetary warfare, over greed and over money and over all of these technology and things like that. So it's not all natural disaster, but this is forging more ultra-terrestrials, more ETs to come forth. There's been a lot of sightings, particularly there's been a lot of sightings, drone sightings over where I'm from here in Colorado. There's been probably 20 to 50 sightings of drones in particular areas. Not only that, Galactic family in AU, they have been having a ton of more sightings as far as what they're seeing in the skies. It's just really amping up right now, the external manifestation of the ET and the UT realms right now, because of the spiritual Galactica, or the spiritual warfare battlefield Galactica that's playing out in the cosmic netting right now. There's a lot that's going out in the cosmic nets. A lot of people are getting trapped in these cosmic nets. See, Pleiadian star encryption is very well aware of the cosmic nets, but they're also getting entangled in them. So that's also playing out. There's a lot of people that are entangled in the cosmic nets. So a lot of this tower energy is having to basically unfold to crack the foundation, because sometimes the installation process of these programs and these frequency nets is what is keeping one locked inside this programming from a very primal level. And so the foundation does have to split to clear that biologically, planetarily, collectively, ancestrally within the soul group framework. And so, like I said, it's just happening on many, many levels. There might be some frustrations, there might be some annoyances, miscommunications, but overall, Pleiades, you continue to push through. You're continuing to be the initiators, the way showers, the first ones to experience a lot of the new planetary embodiments. So there's always a lot that's playing out in Pleiades. The Pleiades should be definitely very well observed, taken note of, supported, as they are in the thick of a lot of the battle, particularly when planetary spiritual battle Galactica does start to play out. So just know, Pleiadians, that you are not alone in all that. There is like a huge community of us that are all receiving these similar messages and also fighting the same spiritual battles that everyone else is going through. And so we just have to stay unified as a soul group, as a soul collective, and know that we are a force to be reckoned with when it comes to the changes that are taking course planetarily. Also recognize the fact that you are very much in a soul contract or a covenant with the Sirian encryption. So just be open and kind to Sirian Stargate initiations, activations. Hold an open heart to that, because they are going to assist with the planetary clearing of the cosmic frequency nets as well and help alleviate this possession that has come over. Okay, guys, so namaste. I love you all so much. I hope that you enjoyed this Pleiadian Starseed origin reading. If you would like to order my new book, How to Read Celestial Akashic Starseed Origins, you can go to my website, indigoangel222.com, and you can also look at my services there: Starseed Origin readings, Akashic Record readings, also personal interactive sessions to help accelerate consciousness expansion through visualization. That would be my AMP session. You can also find that on indigoangel222.com. To see my further work into the cosmic realms, into consciousness mechanics and the morphogenetic structures, please go to patreon.com/indigoangel. And namaste, guys. I love you so much. I hope that this helped shift and clear some vibratory energy for the Pleiadian encryption. And namaste.